Hi, my name is Aja. I'm an aspiring opera singer, and I'm here to teach you how to learn an opera aria. So, you're starting out in your degree in vocal performance, and you're like, yes, getting all the songs, and you're super excited. You're like, OMG, I get to learn my first aria. And then you're like, OMG, how the do you learn an aria? So our first step is going to be research. The first thing I do is I look up the opera. I type the name of the opera into Google, right? All of these links, so many results. So what do I click? I click Wikipedia. If you're in college, a lot of professors are gonna be like, don't use Wikipedia. It's not a good source. I'm here to tell you that it might be. For me, it absolutely is. So we're on Wikipedia, and here's what we're gonna do. There's a short form synopsis, and then there's a long synopsis. You're gonna wanna read the short one, so you're like, okay, I know kind of what's going on. You're gonna go down, you're gonna read the long one. The long one is gonna highlight every major moment in this opera, right? And because you have an aria from this opera, it's going to lay out your major moment in the opera. You get me? You get me? All right, so we're pulling our context out, right? We're like, okay, I understand what my character wants, what she was trying to achieve in this moment. I think I get her. So now we're gonna go to, well, it's not really step 2. It's step 1A. Step 1A will be looking up the aria. What you're looking for is a poetic translation. You want to read the exact words that your character is saying so that you have an idea of, what you're trying to get across by singing this song, right? All right, so there's step 1. Now on to step 2. Step 2 is listen. So what I do is I go to YouTube, I look up the aria, and I start my little YouTube player in the corner, and I probably gather like 8 to 10 recordings of people singing this aria. If I get super lucky, there's a million recordings of professionals. Oh my God, I forgot to say this, but it's important. Only listen to professionals sing it. If they look your age and you're not a professional, don't listen to it. I almost want to say only listen to famous people sing it, or like only people who, if the recording is in front of like an orchestra behind them, and like a big, they get on stage and it's like clapping, yes, amazing, clapping. If it's one of those recordings where they're like, La Stupenda stuns with a beautiful D6. Yeah, you can listen to those. So we're listening, right? We're listening, we're getting a gist of what's going on. We're seeing how people play certain moments. We're looking into little details. Listening for little details. We're following along with the score while we're watching, right? So we're like, getting this together. We've listened and we've looked in the score to see like what we need to look out for, hard areas, melisma, all of those kinds of things. Cadenzas, hearing how a bunch of different people do the cadenzas, that's very important. So now we're gonna get on to step 3. Step 3 is to learn the music. In my opinion, learning the music comes before learning the text, because learning the text is really its own thing. You can, of course, flip-flop these. You know, you can learn the text first and then learn the music, but something about learning music on your best vowel, or like your favorite vocalese sound, just hits different. And honestly, it translates beautifully when you finally go to put the text with it, because then you understand how it should feel. So we're learning it. You know, there's a few ways to learn the music, right? My way to learn the music is typically going to a piano, but I've been playing the piano since I was pretty young. So if you don't have that experience, Accompanist and Lyribox, if you have it, is another good alternative. They let you play the melody while you're listening to the accompaniment. I think you can also like turn down the accompaniment and mostly listen to the melody, so that's good as well. And then a third option, which I have never done, but I think this is an ingenious idea. When I was a senior in college, some of the freshmen were doing this, and I was like, oh, amazing, beautiful, smart, yes. They were putting their music into things like Noteflight and Muse Score, like copying the notes, and it plays it, and I was like, oh, the genius, these kids, they're so smart. Like, I wish I had known that. I wish I had thought of that, to be honest. So now we're gonna get on to step 4, the best part. So for step 4, we're going to learn the text. This part is so important, but something really great is that you already learned the context, you know, the emotion, and hopefully you've already read a poetic translation. So before you put text into music, which I'll also say that, like, I'm telling you to do this because this is the proper way, and what you'll learn is that, like, if you do this before you just learn it all together, it's a better outcome, because like there's lots of times where I just learn everything together, but like, I shouldn't have done that. I did it, but don't do it. You know, do as I say, not as I do. But even if you did learn everything together, you're still gonna want to do this step separately. You got me? So what we're going to do is we are going to translate the aria word by painstaking word. And if you know IPA, you're gonna do that too. Some websites have word for word translations. I'm just gonna put that out there. If you can find them, use them. It'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you so much time. But if you don't have them, go ahead and do it yourself. This book has a separate book that they also sell that I think has word for word translations in IPA, and also like a diction coach. That's something you should definitely invest in, but this is still a skill that you need to know. So yeah, so we're gonna translate word for word. We're going to learn the IPA. We're going to possibly write our own poetic translation. And then once you know the words, you're going to speak them as a monologue. This is so important. This is so important. This is so important, y'all. This step, it will cut down on so many issues. So we're learning the text as a monologue. We're speaking it as a monologue. you know, with all the emotions, and also learning the stresses on words, how they should be pronounced precisely. That's very important. I never did this amount of detail work when I was actually in school, and like the changes it could have made. That's all I have to say. So we're gonna go on to step 5 now. I know you've been waiting for it. Step 5. So step 5 is practice with the accompaniment. Practice with accompanist, practice with a coach, practice with a collaborative pianist, practice with Lyrabox if you have it. If Metronaut has your songs, practice with them. It's important. This is the meat of the work. You've already done most of the work. You know, you baked the cake. This is the icing. You need to know the accompaniment just as well as you know your vocal line. This is very important. You need to know how things line up. You're collaborating. It's an entire soundscape. It's not all about you. It's also very much about the music and the composer and the context of the piece and the character. So I guess to go back over it, step 1 is research, step 2 is listen, step 3 is learn the music, step 4 is learn the text, and step 5 is practice. That's where you put it all together. All right, see you next time. Bye.